Welcome everyone. Today we have Jay with us. Jay, would you introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. I'm Jai Kamdar. I hail from Rajkot, Gujarat, which is not a too big a city, not a metropolitan city, but a decent city. And I have been a space enthusiast like all my life, almost
Hmm.
starting from my sixth grade possibly.
Hmm.
And
And
currently, I'm an active member of SEDS India, spanning nationwide for all the space enthusiasts studying in colleges all over the nation, basically. And I'm also studying in my final year for BTech Triple E in VIT, Vellore.
that's great. So, for our listeners, can you tell what is SEDS actually and how does it help the students who are interested in space?
All right, definitely. SED stands for Students for the Exploration and Development of Space, and it's a SEDS India is a nationwide organization connected with many other nations such as SEDS USA, SEDS Canada, UK SEDS,
Wow,
and yes, currently we are headquartered in VIT. So we have our SEDS VIT as our headquarter chapter here, and we also operate in 10 other colleges within India itself.
that's amazing.
Yes, and the primary purpose of this is to spread space education, educate people in college about what space sciences and technology are, and how everything works in space, how are stars born, how are black holes formed, and how do they affect our lives when we are just a tiny speck of dust.
Great. The last point which you mentioned, that how does it affect our life? I
Yes.
would like to build on that only. Recently, we got to know that India has opened its door for private organizations. That is, ISRO will allow private companies and organizations to hold, test, or launch their own satellites using the facilities provided by ISRO. What are your thoughts on that, and how does it help the upcoming people who want to join this industry?
Okay. Primarily, that was a much awaited but a marvelous move by the Indian government. And
Mhm.
this has been occurring in other well-developed nations such as US and UK since
Mhm.
quite a while, but it's never too late to start it. So uh, the the most welcoming part of this is space startups in India will have a much huge platform, like bigger platform than before. Yes, that's it. And for students, it's a very great opportunity to actually implement the projects in real time and practically conduct them in subspace or orbital projects or say even orbital projects. Yes.
Amazing. So what I get from you saying is that if I'm a student and I have an idea for a satellite to observe something, for example, weather patterns from space, or as you said, suborbit. So can I use ISRO facilities to do that?
Yes, definitely. So there are two ways around it. Now that they have allowed commercialization of space, there are many private space firms who are designing their own launch services to send suborbital or orbital payloads into space. And the other part is ISRO has its own sounding rocket program where it allows student payloads to be launched on their own ISRO's own rockets. So there are two ways around it. Yes. So students they have a lot of opportunity in this arena.
So I would tell my listeners that check out their websites, the various organizations that are out there, and ISRO website as well, to learn how you can launch your own satellite into space. Coming to launching your own satellite, I have heard from my friends that you have done something on your own. Jay, can you just tell me about that? What is that?
Okay, that I have been, as I told you in the starting of this podcast, that I have been interested in space, mainly in rocketry. So I'll tell you how it happened. In my seventh grade, we had everyone had free slots in school, if everyone remembers.
Right, right.
So
Zero period.
yes, exactly.
Right.
So our teacher was like, I don't want to let them to sit alone and like do nothing and just roam around the campus. So he initiated to ask us if you wanted to see a movie, and he luckily had just one movie on his laptop that was Octopus Sky. Now I don't know if my listeners have watched this movie, but it's entirely based on how modern rocketry was born, and it's based on the life of a person who was considered the father of modern rocketry.
Wow.
Yes, so that was a huge inspiration for me, and it's you can just feel it whenever you see a rocket launch, the thrill that it gives. It basically gives you goosebumps. And now imagine that you're launching your own rocket instead of seeing another rocket launch.
Wow.
Yes, so I just didn't think about it because I usually don't think much before doing anything risky.
Great.
Now I do, but back then I was pretty much immature.
Mm.
So I was like, I gathered a group of friends and I was like, I want to launch my rocket, whatever it costs. And all of them, every single one of them told me that it's not possible and you will be locked behind bars if you do stuff like this, and you will be disowned by your own parents if you do this. So I do agree with the later part. So don't tell my parents. I hope my parents don't listen to this podcast.
Hey Bhagwan.
Yes, but that's how my journey started. I did extensive research on YouTube. That was my main research platform to how to make rockets, and I listed everything down. I always keep a diary of myself. I like to keep records.
Nice.
So yes, I think my first attempt at this was in 2015, winter of 2015.
So you launched it from where exactly? Like a park or something?
Okay, the launching was the tricky part was the launch because of course my parents won't allow it. So I had to plan it accordingly. So in winter of 2015, I think it was during Diwali time,
Okay.
where I think after Diwali we have something called Bestu Varash in Gujarat, where it's kind of a new year for us. So we go to each other's houses, our relatives' houses, and greet them Happy New Year. So it was like I made an excuse and didn't go along with my parents. So I had a home alone time for about 3 to 4 hours. So
Okay.
that was the jackpot. That was when I hit it that. And I made the fuel. The fuel was pretty easy. I had to buy potassium nitrate from the market, which was not easy, I'll say, because when I first went there to buy potassium nitrate, they asked me for a note from a higher authority. Because potassium nitrate,
So I'm imagining like a school student going to like this chemical factory or facility and asking, भैया जरा 2 किलो पोटेशियम नाइट्रेट
yes,
मिलेगा?
bomb का component है वो चीज actually.
क्या सच में
To
like
make bombs, it's also used to make explosives. So yes, they asked me for a note, and I was like, extra पैसे ले लो कोई बात नहीं.
so you
But
you you got the potassium nitrate
no,
from
no, no, I didn't get it on the first try, of course. It's not as easy as it sounds, first of all.
them.
Yeah, so I had to go back to school and convince my chemistry teacher to somehow write me a note on this. I did convince him. I got the note. I got my potassium nitrate, 500 grams of it. It
500
costed
grams.
me about 2.5 or 3 months of pocket money, definitely,
Then
but worth it. So out of the 500 grams that I got, I used 200 grams for my first launch. So what I had to do was take about 200 grams of potassium nitrate, add 3 to 4, I don't remember exactly because it was a long time ago, but 3 to 4 small cups of water in it and sugar.
mm-hmm.
And then I had to cook it over a pan.
Hmm.
Now that is the cooking it over a pan. If it even gets like extra heated or overheated
It will explode.
beyond, yes, it will explode. But definitely while cooking it, created sparks, a lot of sparks that came towards my eyes and everything. So yeah, when I first started cooking, there was a lot of sparks. So I closed down the gas. Okay, I did this over my kitchen stove. So
Very good, very good, very
yeah,
good.
so and this was a time when we didn't have GSPC gas lines. We had those cylinders, you know. So if it had
Safety
blasted,
first,
I would
safety
have lost
first.
my home. Definitely would have been disowned and probably would have been behind bars.
Amazing. This is amazing content, man.
So I did it.
That
I
is.
made the fuel.
Mhm.
I stuffed it in my cardboard tube, which I had specifically made for rockets. So I had actually like it was basically cardboard. It was nothing. It didn't involve any metal or anything. And I knew my rocket won't be like coming back, and I won't be able to reuse it. But it was just for a testing purpose, so that's not an issue.
So I'm guessing that in 2015 you were already thinking of reusable rockets. That is something.
Of course, after all, I am. If I tell you, I'm a banya, so I definitely keep a track of costs, and I will try my best to save money.
Amazing. And talking about saving money, I guess ISRO is like has a this trademark of doing impossible things at such a low budget. We all know about the Mangalyaan mission, which was done at half of the cost of what other countries have been doing. And this brings this brings me to the one of the very strange, or should I say sensitive topic. Like, there are people who say that in a country that where people are still dying because of starvation, there are other such big issues. Why is the Indian government or India pushing its space program so much? What is your thinking on this?
All right, yes, this has been a very great debate topic since almost many years. But as being a space enthusiast, to be honest, I'm not being able to empathize with the side who is saying that we should spend money on the people who are suffering in poverty and hunger rather than spending it on space exploration. If you are if you're from a middle class family and you discover that oranges are much cheaper than apple or kiwi, so it doesn't mean that for your whole life you will keep eating oranges and you'll never taste any other fruit in your life or eat any other food because oranges are the most cheapest, so why not? So it doesn't work like that. We have been always curious, and by nature we want to explore stuff and explore undiscovered realms. And space is another realm which has not been discovered, which has not been conquered as per se by mankind. So it's definitely a necessity instead of just it's not something which can be termed as a luxury.
The things you said right now, I was reading this biography of APJ Abdul Kalam, and very similar things were written in that. He said that people are asking me to stop this research on rockets, and it was during the time when APJ Abdul Kalam was in ISRO, and people were showing opposition because of the same reason, that the country is struggling. Why are you pushing the space program? And then he said, if you want your country to be a powerhouse in the world, you need to have two things: nuclear power and a well-established space program.
Definitely, that's a very correct point. Yes.
And I would recommend my listeners to read his APJ Abdul Kalam's biography, Wings of Fire. It's inspirational work. It's like every day, 2 or 3 pages. If you read it now, it makes your day. You have this energy that you get from that guy. He's inspirational, man. And recently we celebrated his death anniversary.
Yes.
So
It
uh,
was definitely an inspiration for me too. Personally, if I would say that I think during 11th grade, due to bad grades and everything, I was pretty demotivated to continue with whatever projects I'm going on, and I was like, बस पढ़ाई करनी है और जॉब लेनी है and then we'll settle down because ये हमारी बस की बात नहीं है rockets वगैरह बनाना and all that. So
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
that book was my inspiration that got me back on track with whatever I was doing on.
Right.
And yes, it also inspired my article. I think I have written an article with the support of SETS VIT, my fellow members at SETS VIT, that should they like a space or no space. The article's title is that, and basically discusses this debate whether we should spend money on space program or should we rather spend it on solving human miseries on Earth itself.
Talking about inspirations, let's talk about movies. Like, can you tell me the movie that you think like changed your life?
Definitely. So first, I would like to say that mass media, which basically covers all of the topics that you said, movies, songs, music, news, and magazines and everything. Mass media is basically a platform where a single source is reaching out to many people around. So that plays a very huge role in influencing lifestyle all around the world. And personally saying, my favorite movie was The Martian because earlier, before The Martian was released, we had I had seen many plans for the Mars architecture program. So like there were many plans around to how we will get there, how we will send cargo there, and how we will set up our habitation and units and survival units there. Basically, how we will get power, how we will grow crops there. But before that, I had only read about this through research papers and project papers that are not like easily available to everyone in the world. But Martian, being a movie, was watched by millions and millions of people, and that point got out there that it's possible. It's not an impossible or so it also boost. I think it also boosted NASA's plan to explore Mars and send manned missions there. So
Precisely.
yes, and the best part of it was mostly space movies are when true space enthusiasts watch space movies such as say Space Odyssey, but The Martian was the most non-fictional space movie I ever watched in my life.
I get it, I get it. Because
Yes.
2001 Space Odyssey was a bit more metaphysical. It was dealing with more of philosophical issues rather than the technical. And the best part, The Martian showed you actual ways that it can be done. Potatoes can be grown using your shit.
That's a true point.
I know this session has been short for a specific reason, but I request all our listeners, if they want to interact with this podcast, to come forward and share your own views on space science, space technology, anything related to space. Jay, in the end, would you like to give a final message to the listeners?
All right, so everybody tuning into this podcast, I would like to say that you guys can definitely get more involved in activities related to space by associating with many organizations out there. There is SEDS, for instance, which supports college space enthusiasts who are like basically studying in colleges and high schools also. And furthermore, if you want to get to a more professional level, you can follow SGAC, Space Generation Advisory Council, which is an international platform and network of space enthusiasts out there. With They have advisors from actual space industries who are pretty well established there. And there's also a body called UNUSA, United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, that supports students and their efforts to promote space education and sciences basically. So you can definitely check it out there. And I'd also recommend you guys to follow SETS VIT and SETS India on Instagram to get constantly updated about what new stuff is happening around. And
Amazing.
yes, that's all.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, SEDS, VIT, SEDS India, and all the space enthusiasts who are constantly working to take humanity to the next level. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you so much.